Okay, folks, so I want to try to do as quick a video as I can here to share some more of this information. I want to share this article here about the NASA's device for biometric verification and identification. And then there's a couple interesting paragraphs in this Department of Defense Small Business Innovation Requisition type of thing for a portable brain recording device and app. And in case you're not familiar with the SBIR, it's where the Department of Defense solicits public ideas for how to develop a portable brain recording device and app. And there's a couple interesting paragraphs in there I want to read. And I want to share a couple paragraphs from the solar geoengineering here, as well as some of the patents and some of the information as well on DARPA's involvement with some of these brain interface, human interface systems and stuff. So, and I want to remind everybody too that, you know, right now we're really not the United States of America. Okay? We're more like the 10 coordinated regions of FEMA. And right now, Nevada is kind of lumped in with California. So some of these other exercises that go on in some of these other states around us here kind of have a little bit of an impact on our location as well, because in events of emergencies, which states of emergency, which we're under and have been still under 9/11 emergency, in case y'all didn't know, that allows them to manage us under these, you know, types of circumstances here, and it makes us a little bit more manageable. Rather than managing 50 states, they manage 10 different regions, and then they just kind of pass down their guidance from their exercise programs. And right now they're running a few interesting exercise programs, and I want to remind people of that. And, you know, just really quick here too, in case you're not familiar with the Project Pandora. Now, I was going to read a little bit more about this here as far as the Moscow signal goes, but before I read too much more of it, I mean, in case you're not familiar with Project Pandora, it was one of the studies that was sanctioned to be done, and it was among this review of their contracts to perform these studies. There's information talking about how there was only like 10% of it that went to one of the studies and 90% that went to this Project Pandora. But this particular article here kind of points out some of the malfeasance and makes some, you know, pretty horrific type of accusations and type of information about how the animals were treated and the type of experiment that it was. And basically, it was only just a couple of animals that they tested. So there's really no way that they could say that they, you know, 90% of the funds that were allocated to do this project, you know, were actually presented any kind of viable data or anything. In fact, I think it kind of says that, no material has been presented to date which is scientifically credible and which could result in scientific publication. In fact, it appears that no technical report of any degree of detail has been presented relative to work on this portion of the contract, which would be the second study that was done involving, or the first study with the primates. So anyway, that's concerning like the Moscow signal stuff, and I just wanted to remind y'all of the kind of people that we're dealing with, because it's kind of horrific in some of these experiments that they do in the name of, you know, to see if it's going to have any kind of effect on us humans. And again, we are all like individuals, all right? We all have our own individual responses to things, and we're all a variable of some sort. And we all respond to things differently. And to kind of lump us up into just one single category is very bothersome for me. And I know it is for a lot of other people too, because it really, you know, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. I just wanted to retouch on that Project Pandora. You can research it yourself and look it up. It's kind of bothersome to think about, but you know, it's stuff that's documented in our history books, and it just kind of paints a little bit of a picture of the kind of people that we deal with who are working at some of these things and doing these exercises and stuff, like, you know, the World Economic Forum and stuff too. But here at the local level, I want to remind y'all that tomorrow they're doing their Silver State Blackout tabletop exercise. Yeah. where the Nevada Division of Emergency Management is going to address a wide-scale power outage, a simulation, or the idea of it, right? In coordination with the National Exercise Program, the NEP, which is FEMA, national. The Silver State Blackout Tabletop Exercise will look at the statewide effects of a short-term and long-term power outage scenario. And they target emergency management officials, elected officials, public-private sector partners, state, local, tribal, territorial jurisdictions, federal partners. It's going on up there in Carson City tomorrow. So I just want to remind y'all, save the date. Tomorrow they're doing one of their little exercises where they practice a statewide blackout. Yeah, interesting, huh? And there's another one here, too, to remind y'all about. And because we're in, FEMA Region 9, we'll kind of be lumped into this kind of exercise here as well, concerning any data that they, harvest from it. And this is the Golden Gavel legal exercise for Northern California catastrophic earthquake. And this is on May 23rd. It's up and coming. It's a tabletop exercise for federal, state, tribal, and local attorneys to discuss legal issues that may arise from a catastrophic earthquake impacting the San Francisco area. And I believe they mentioned like a specific, during the May 23rd tabletop, players will exercise legal support from and coordination among attorneys during a catastrophic earthquake along the Hayward Fault. Goals of the exercise include raise awareness of potential impacts of catastrophic earthquake. Well, you should probably go and check out Dodge Cincy for that if you really want to know. Identify legal issues that may impede response and recovery efforts and solve them. Identify discrete actions to take in advance of an earthquake to streamline issue resolution. Interesting, to identify discrete actions. This event is invitation only. Yeah, so only if you're super special do you get to go to that one. And now remember, in this previous one that I pointed out for the state of Nevada here, you got to remember their target audience were emergency management officials, elected officials, public-private sector partners, state, local, tribal, territorial jurisdictions, and federal partners. So one can only assume that the list of invites sent out for this type of an exercise concerning attorneys is probably going to consist people from all of those different areas and then some. So, that's up and coming. May 23rd, 2023, they're going to be practicing how to handle legal issues that may arise from a catastrophic earthquake in California. So, anyway, we can definitely monitor and keep track of some of those things just in case they decide to try to go live with something. And we can have, information ahead of time that says, well, wait a minute, weren't you doing an exercise or something that day? Are you sure that this is for reals? And if it's for reals, how did you know ahead of time that there was, you know what I mean? How did you know to practice for that ahead of time? I mean, I understand that there's a lot of things that occur and there's unforeseen circumstances, but still, it just seems kind of weird that some of these exercises that they do, it just so happens that there's something that occurs and they just take advantage of that crisis. But anyway, I want to go into really quick this article here from NASA for their method and device for biometric verification and identification. Yeah, this is what they say, okay? NASA has developed a method for verifying the identity of a person based on his or her heartbeat electrocardiogram signal. The technique uses an algorithm that has been shown to be more reliable than other current procedures, such as fingerprint verification, retina verification, or detecting biometric identifiers from heart signals. Interesting. It eliminates artifacts and abnormal beats, thereby reducing overall error. The process automatically extracts from one or more electrocardiographic leads or channels, okay, a set of biometric features which are characteristic to an individual and can be employed to verify the identity of one individual or to identify an individual from a group. The electrocardiographic signal is recorded in each lead from a pair of electrodes placed on the skin of the individual's arms or legs. Each electrocardiographic lead characterizes the heart's electrical vector as projected on a separate dimension. Interesting terms and wordology there, huh? This allows a multi-dimensional characterization of the heart's electrical activity, which can result in improved subject verification performance. Well, it was a NASA special and all that, huh? Yeah, because we need something like this, right? Yeah. The technology. The advantage of using cardiac biometrics over existing methods is that heart signatures are more difficult to forge compared to other biometric devices. You don't say. So it's hard to detect a person's heart signal. Oh, yeah, and it can't be replicated so easily. You don't say. Let me reread that, okay? The advantage of using cardiac biometrics over existing methods is that heart signatures are more difficult to forge compared to other biometric devices. Iris scanners can be fooled by contact lenses and sunglasses, and a segment of the population does not have readable fingerprints due to age or working conditions. Interesting. But you gotta have your heartbeat though, right? That's something you can't, you can certainly wear it down and change it, right? But you can't, like, wipe it out with a little bit of acid on your fingertips like we've seen in movies and shit, right? Anyway, previous electrocardiographic signals employed a single template and compared that template with new test templates by means of cross-correlation or linear discriminant analysis. The benefit of this technology over competing cardiac biometric methods is that it is more reliable with a significant reduction in error rates. I wonder how they're able to do that. The benefit of this technology is that it creates a probabilistic model of the electrocardiographic features of a person instead of a single signal template of the average heartbeat. Does it? The probabilistic model, described as a Gaussian mixture model, allows various modes of the feature distribution. You don't say. In contrast to a template model that only characterizes a mean waveform. Interesting. Another advantage is so that, in other words, they've figured out a way to separate that signal and that electrical signal, right? Split it, so to speak, right? Split it up into different parts and read it better, right? Is that what basically? I mean, that's my understanding. Maybe I understand it wrong. Anyway. Another advantage is that the model uses both physiological and anatomical characterizations of the heart. Unlike other methods that mainly use only physiological characterization of the heart. By combining features from different leads, the heart of the person is better characterized in terms of anatomical orientation because each lead represents a different projection of the electrical vector of the heart. Thus, employing multiple electrocardiographic leads provides a better performance in subject verification or identification. So it kind of weeds out all of that white noise we might have in our heart signal, right? Yeah. But you don't want to tune out your heart light, right? You got to keep your heart light on, right? You can't mar that up like your fingertips, and you can't wear contact lenses or sunglasses to bypass that. It's undeniable. The technology is undeniable. Yeah, thanks, but no thanks, NASA. Anyway, yeah, that was that one. But here we go. Yeah, it's going on 15 minutes. Damn it. Yeah. Anyway, this is that little bit of information on the portable brain recording device and app that DOD, the Department of Defense, was asking for some ideas on. Well, let me just read a little bit into this, and you can see there's The open date was December 17th, 2012. The due date was January 16th, 2013. And the close date was January 16th, 2013. So we're talking how many years ago? A decade ago? 10 years ago? Anyway, the objective. Develop a portable, inexpensive, and easy to use electroencephalography, EEG. I think I pronounced that right. Electroencephalography, EEG device, and corresponding mobile application app for use by non-traditional audiences. Oh, what would be non-traditional audiences? The product will provide real-time quantitative assessments of neural activity utilizing display and analysis platforms people already own. Already own, huh? EEG technologies provide recordings of electrical brain activity with millisecond-scale temporal resolution. These devices are used extensively in research and medical communities, including triaging for traumatic brain injury, TBI, Nonheim et al., 2010. Because of their unparalleled temporal fidelity and non-invasive nature, using electrodes placed on the scalp, more recently, EEG has been used in neuromarketing and to provide neurofeedback with brain-computer interfaces to allow people to move objects or play computer games with their mind. Yeah, let me repeat that one real quick there for you. It says, more recently, EEG has been used in neuromarketing and to provide neurofeedback with brain-computer interfaces to allow people to move objects or play computer games with their mind. So that's these VR headset thingies and all this stuff, and a lot of this touchscreen technology is adapted, is what it's been adapted from too. So anyway, despite these advantages and applications of EEG, the devices and analysis software are too expensive to promote use by a wide audience. Current EEG devices are also unappealing for the general population. Oh, you don't say. With gel-based electrodes and cumbersome software programs. Yeah, who wants to have electrodes plugged on their head all the time, right? Let's just make it more easy. And unwieldy for military operational use. Oh, that is the keywords right there. Unwieldy for military operational use. With many recording electrodes and wires. Those are just kind of getting in the way, huh? Industry has recognized the need for a portable, easy-to-use EEG, and a number of companies have developed prototypes. Oh, you don't say? Many of these devices are plagued by a high artifact in recordings and do not provide the fidelity of data needed for valid research and operational use. I just got a battery low, a notification on my phone here. So anyway, portable EEG systems that do provide research quality data are prohibitively costly for use by a wide audience, costing over $25,000 per EEG system for neuroscan. There is a great need for inexpensive and easy-to-use neural recording devices. Oh, there is there? Having EEGs in every classroom in America would stimulate the imagination of youth and promote science and technology. Well, you don't say. Teachers could design lesson plans in biology about the brain and sensory systems and use hands-on demonstrations to engage students. So in other words, these VR sets and all this type of technology in the classrooms. Let me repeat that sentence, okay? Having EEGs in every classroom in America would stimulate the imagination of youth and open up a direct line into their freaking bodies, right? And their imagination of youth and promote science and technology. Teachers would design lesson plans about the brain and sensory systems and use hands-on demonstrations to engage students. Students could record their own brain activity and download the data to their iPad. Well, wouldn't that just be so convenient? If your student could just record and download their brain activity to their iPad. That'd be just great, wouldn't it? Yeah. including EEGs and basic military first aid kits, would also help with both medical diagnostics and clinical care for deployed soldiers. Well, there's your military application, right? First, they start with the kids. Let's do it for the kids. And then let's work on the soldiers. Portable EEGs could be used in the field with data sent to a corresponding app on a smartphone for near instantaneous analysis. Wow. And location too, right? Yeah. By funding a small business with expertise in developing a portable EEG, DARPA stands to make unprecedented strides in this technology. Listen, yeah, just extra special. Yeah, and they wouldn't share that information and use it for any means that would be considered a weapon, though, right? No, because they don't do that, right? No. Anyway, focusing on reducing the cost and increasing the operational ease of use for both EEG recordings and analysis will revolutionize public and military-based access to brain science. Well, it's for better. I mean, I understand under certain circumstances it being used and the technology being deployed under certain circumstances and stuff, but you know damn well that behind the scenes they're developing and using it for other means. Just saying. They have a proven history of this. Anyway. Okay. Let me see. Where did I leave off? Focusing on reducing the cost and increasing the operational ease of use for both EEG recordings and analysis will revolutionize public and military-based access to brain science. With public access to brain recording devices and apps in everybody's hands, I'm probably getting my shit recorded right now and documented. But anyway, let me see here. Where did I leave off? Darn it, I keep getting out of focus here. Let's see here. With public access to brain recording devices and apps, the field of cognitive neuroscience will be able to take advantage of crowdsourcing to solve complex neuroscience problems. Oh, okay. What challenges one laboratory of neuroscientists or even a field of scientists cannot answer, people everywhere will be able to solve collectively. Well, that's kind of special, huh? Yeah. Phase 1. Develop an initial concept design and model key elements for a low-cost portable EEG system. Now, these are their requirements for anybody that had submitted their plans for this portable brain recording device, okay? And in phase 1, what they're looking for is develop an initial concept design and model key elements for a low-cost portable EEG system. Design a concept for an app for mobile devices that could wirelessly download EEG recordings and graphically display data, and most likely including your carbon footprint. Phase 1 deliverables will include a technical report and brief describing the plan of approach and key technological milestones for the development of a prototype system. Phase 2, develop, demonstrate, and validate the concept design created in Phase 1 for the low-cost EEG device. Construct, develop, test, and demonstrate validity of an EEG-compatible app for mobile devices. Required Phase 2 deliverables will include results for the EEG device to the mobile device app and feasibility of use in future commercial and or military applications. Applications. Phase 3. Many commercial entities would have interest in a low-cost, portable, and easy-to-use EEG. Potential marketplace applications exist in neuromarketing, gaming, politics. Really? In politics too, huh? Interesting. So you need to have a portable EEG system to help with politics. And many other fields. Well, can you be a little more vague? I mean, more specific? I mean, transparent? I don't know the word I'm looking for. In addition to Army medics, civilian doctors will also use this device for triaging TBI patients in hospitals, which is traumatic brain injury patients in hospitals. And it's kind of interesting because my husband has relatives that are recently dealing with these kind of issues and stuff like that, with recovery from a brain injury. But anyway, a great opportunity exists in the educational field as well. Placing these devices in every school would provide an invaluable resource to inspire the next generation of scientists and engineers in America to spy on each other. I mean, would provide a generation of scientists and engineers in America, and would provide an unprecedented opportunity for crowdsourcing in the general population. Well, how convenient for someone, huh? A portable low-cost EEG device and handheld app for analysis would aid all branches of the U.S. military, with particular applicability to the U.S. Army. Soldier medics with access to EEG on the battlefield would have improved diagnostic capabilities. Well, now, okay, aren't they investing like a whole crap ton of money into technologies that will eliminate having to have a physical man on the scene, so to speak? Like technologies that are being controlled remotely, type of a thing, and stuff like that. So, as far as developing a device like this for that application, I've got to question that, because I mean, if their intent to move forward, when they have said before in recent years, when asking for more money for some of these projects, they've stated that moving forward they need to invest more into these type of technologies that eliminates the casualty factor, that eliminates that physical man in the field that's out there as this vulnerable, target, so to speak. So they're talking about this here, where it would help with the soldier and the medics with access to EEG on the battlefield would have improved diagnostic capabilities. What are you going to be out there measuring? You going to check the oil in the drone? I mean, essential to effective treatment. EEG has been shown effective as a quick triage method for traumatic brain injury, TBI, and will have incredible applications such for the Army. Well, isn't that special? Because there's going to be a lot of traumatic brain injuries on the drones. And it cites some references. But anyway, holy moly, this video's already almost a half hour. You know what? Yep, there's definitely going to be another part, because I definitely want to share some more information. And I'm sorry if I drag some of these videos out, just reading a bunch of words and stuff like that. But for me, when they solicit the public for ideas for these kind of things like that, I have to question their motives. And when they state stuff like, wanting to use it as an application for good for man, I really have to question that, because they've given us every reason to question what they do most of the time. So don't forget too that the NIH is involved in this kind of stuff too, because they they've developed a brain recording device that melts into place. How about that? That's kind of special too, huh? I don't know. I'm gonna do another one, and I'll probably try to do it a little bit later today, but I need to double check on the pup, the poor guy, and then do a couple of other things around the house here. But I want to read a little bit more from the solar geoengineering, and I want to go into some of these terms, marine cloud brightening, and some of the space-based techniques. And that's what I really want to touch on, is because a lot of times when I do reviews on some of these videos, when I'm capturing the skies around me, I see a lot of very interesting outlines and shapes and forms and stuff. And I also want to go back and revisit a little bit more on DARPA's involvement in brain-man-machine systems and stuff. And this was an article and information that was talking about a little bit about back in the 70s, in the early 70s, about biocybernetics program. So I want to share more of that. And I most definitely want to share more on the weather modification and some of the patents, method of modifying weather and stuff, and just kind of read through some of the, you know, bullet points and the abstracts and stuff with some of these. Method of scavenging atmospheric energy causing rainfall and for dissipating severe weather formations using an electrostatic dirigible, which is like a balloon. Oh, yeah. So I want to cover more of that for sure, but as usual, I talk too much about other things. And when it comes to this like technology and stuff that they're deploying, where NASA has said they have a method or a device to read our heartbeat and our heart signal, I gotta wonder really, really what their intention is. I'm just saying, because it's NASA. And I know some people might be offended by that, and I don't mean to offend anybody who are fans of NASA. I really don't. You're more than welcome to, you know, make the decisions that you do and support them if you want. I'm just kind of pointing out some interesting things that I myself want questions and answers for, additional information and more transparency, because if you try to find some of the studies and the information around a lot of this stuff, it's just buried deep in a lot of PDF files that you ultimately end up having to pay for. And I think that's kind of bullshit. But anyway, there's definitely more to come. I want to share some more information on weather modification for sure. And also, I did do another search on some of the exercises that are coming up, some additional exercises that are coming up for in the fall for some of these scenarios that they want to test for and create anyway. This is already almost 32 minutes long, so if you're still watching, you know, you're awesome and you know it. And so clap your hands. And thank you for watching. There's definitely more to come if I can help it.